Hello, everyone. This hello, everyone. This is Super EG Master here. Welcome to the myafibstory.com 400 at Chicagoland race review. And I think that's how you say the sponsor correctly. Anyway, so here we're going to review the recent race at Chicagoland, which is also the first race of the 2014 chase under this new format. And we're going to have quite a bit to talk about here in the chase, and etc. So I gotta say here, it was definitely a improvement. Not like a dramatic, vast improvement from what happened at Richmond, because I don't I don't know what happened there, but it was definitely an improvement. I enjoyed the race. For a while there, I did start to sense a feeling that it's like, is this race going to go green for the last half of the race, and no cautions, but thankfully that didn't happen. It was actually a really exciting race, and towards the end, someday I would like to go to Chicagoland Speedway. Maybe that can happen next year. I don't know. We'll just have to go see. Uh, here. So let's go through the running order right here. We got Brad Keselowski, who won the race, and obviously, I'm assuming that a lot of people who aren't Keselowski fans are probably annoyed by this win, and I am a little bit too. But I think at the end of the day, Brad Keselowski was the most deserving driver to win this race, and because he came back, because he started 25th place, he was the second lowest starting chaser. Because what happened was that qualifying got rained out, so they set the field at practice speed, and Keselowski did not have a good first practice, so that's why he started back there. So he came back from that. Then he got to the front, he led some laps, and then he got passed by Harvick, and then during a set of pit stops under caution, apparently I believe his team reported a loose wheel, and so then he had to go back to 16th, and then it looked like that he wasn't going to get that far up there. But then we had a few cautions, and then he was able to go through the middle of the battle between Larson and Harvick and make it work. And so to see him come to the front, not once but twice, to me that's a performance level that deserves to be the 2014 NASCAR Pickup Series champion, and I think that's the level that Brad Keselowski has performed at for a good portion of the season. But my one concern for Keselowski is that not everything, not every mistake can be turned into a Cinderella story. So I think the two team, when it comes to pit road issues, they should try to fix that, because as I mentioned, not every mistake can be recovered. He could because cautions are not always going to be there to save him. Because think about it, I feel like if that late stream of cautions didn't happen, I think Keselowski probably wouldn't have won. So I think Keselowski, he needs to improve on his pit crew a little bit to not have mistakes, and I think Keselowski, he'll be just fine here. So because of his win, and because under this new chase format, he's already locked into the next round. So yeah, and I think as we look to next week, I think he'll probably win that race too, because he won the race in July in a dominating fashion, and he'll probably bring back the same car that won that race too. So yeah, in second place, Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon, he led some laps early on, and early on in the race, it looked like Jeff Gordon was going to be the winner, but then despite having a strong car, it wasn't a number one car. Maybe if Jeff Gordon had taken some pit strategy and got unlucky, maybe he could have won this race. But I don't think that, because I feel like that in that final stretch, once Keselowski got to the lead, there was no stopping him. And it's kind of an annoying thing to hear when we're not his fan, and we have to accept the fact that there he is. He's just dominating. He's just really good. It's kind of annoying for someone like me, if all you're non-Brad Keselowski fans, but okay. And third place, Kyle Larson. I was rooting for Kyle Larson the whole entire time, because when the chase is on, I like to root for those non-chasers. I hope they win, and I was hoping that because Kyle Larson could be the first non-chaser to win the first chase race, because they mentioned it during one of the cautions while he was leading. Then that didn't happen because Kevin Harvick competed with him, and then Kyle Larson, I believe got into the wall, and then he had like tire rub. So Kyle Larson, he raced his tail off, and so I can't really be too sad for him. But I can't be too sad for him being in third place because I think he had a great run, and I would like to, and I think now of Kyle Larson, I think these 10 races, I think what he can do now with these next 9 races is showcase them to himself as a contender to be in the chase next year. In fourth place, we got Joey Logano, who was the lowest starting chaser. He started 28th, but he never really ever led like a lap here. So Logano, he just kind of like quietly snuck his way through. His car wasn't as fast as his teammate, but I think Logano is definitely. I would watch for him at some other racetracks. You know, he won. You know, he won Bristol in Richmond back in April, so maybe he can be a contender for Martinsville. I don't know. I think when Logano wins his races, he kind of surprises us, or at least me. Anyway, fifth place we got Kevin Harvick, and I thought Kevin Harvick, you know, I thought much like before, I felt like he was a huge contender. Was a huge contender for the winner there, and thankfully, him and Jeff Gordon, they didn't have problems restarting on the outside lane like Logano and Newman did earlier in the race. So I gotta give props to them. Sixth place we get Denny Hamlin. Didn't really talk that much about him, but I think Denny Hamlin, I think he's trying to improve, and so is his teammate Kyle Busch, who finished 7th. That is a vast improvement to what. Because of what we've seen in the past couple weeks, he was in my first 4 to be eliminated, but if he can keep performing on that level, I think he can be a contender to possibly be in the top 4. But I don't think he's going to get there. I think his best chance right now for me is that second to last round, the eliminator round. 8th place we get Kurt Busch, 9th place we get Jamie McMurray, who did lead some laps early, but I think him hitting that wall at one point kind of. Even though they said it was cosmetic damage, I think it still affected him. 10th place, Matt Kenseth. I was expecting Matt Kenseth to possibly do a little bit well. He was the defending race winner, but him and Kurt Busch had problems on pit road. So I think that hurt both those drivers a lot. And then 11th place, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dale Earnhardt Jr. Yeah, they didn't really talk much about him. And there were actually some articles here on NASCAR.com saying that like it's 2014 juniors like last year, which I don't know why they would bring up that. I may have to look into that a little bit more after this is done, but we'll just have to see. Then 12th place, Jimmy Johnson. One of the things that annoyed me was when in the post show, Nicole Briscoe, Rusty Walls, and Brad Daughtry. That had to be like, is Jimmy Johnson in trouble? And I absolutely hated that I had to do that because, excuse me, we are at Chicagoland. Don't rate Jimmy's performance level on the chase at Chicagoland because Chicagoland is one of the 4 tracks Jimmy has not won. I would rather be more interested into rating Jimmy Johnson right now at Dover because I feel like that, you know, because in the chase, we're going to some of his best racetracks. We're going to Dover, we're going to Martinsville, we're going to Texas, we're going to Phoenix, you know, we're going to Charlotte. I would rate Jimmy Johnson's chase championship chances at those tracks and not Chicagoland. So, but Jimmy Johnson, I don't know, I believe he restarted like 6 or something, but what happened was that every single car behind him had fresher tires. So I think that's why he got bumped back there. So yeah, because I feel like that, you know, if there are 2 groups of field, there's one group of old tires and then there's one group of new tires. If you're the last car in that old group, you're going to get bumped back to most positions. Fifth place we got Casey Kane here. So 300 cars finished 11, 12, 13 minutes. Junior, Johnson, Kane, and Casey Kane. Now they didn't talk about him. Near so did Martin Jr. Didn't talk that much about him. Ryan Newman, who started second, but he had restart issues, you know, restart on the high side. But for a while there, he wasn't inside the top 5, so I don't know what happened to his car. Austin Dillon 16th, Stenhouse Jr. 17th, Stewart 18th, Patrick 19th, Patrick and Stenhouse. They collided together in that last caution right there, and it's hard to tell from the camera angles to what I can remember of what exactly happened, but oh well, oh well, oh well. I think I wish I could have had I think some people would have liked to see an interview between both of those drivers. Then Carl Edwards, 20th, who was a driver who started third. I think they say in race day like Carl Edwards and Greg Biffle are the two drivers who will probably go after the first round is over. But I think Carl Edwards, I think he's good enough to get past the first one. But I think Carl Edwards, that team needs to improve. The Devil Cup Series guy, he brought up how pretty much ever since the Gen 6 car came to NASCAR, Roush Fenway has not been doing good. They've gone from being one of like the top 3 teams to being one of the worst teams in NASCAR. And I think Roush Fenway Racing is on a self-destruct racing streak. They just can't seem to get their acts together and be consistent enough. Then we got Paul Menard 21st, who started 9th. Not much to talk about him. AJ Allmendinger, he did slightly better than what I anticipated, but it's still not enough. I feel like I got like 22nd from him and 20th place from Edwards and 23rd place from Greg Biffle. I don't think it's going to cut it. I think if you're in that area, I think if you finish in the area for the next 2 weeks, I don't know if you're going to get past the first round, but it's NASCAR, anything can happen. Then we got 24th Brian Vickers, 25th Marcus Ambrose, who on Friday they announced that Marcus Ambrose is going back to Australia, but then I believe today, Roger Penske announced that he's building a VA supercar team there, and he's going to sign Marcus Ambrose. That's good for Marcus Ambrose. But I think when it comes to Marcus Ambrose, I think it's time. I think he had several great moments in the sport, not just on road courses, but oval. So I think Marcus Ambrose he got what he needed to get out of it. And I think it's time to go. So I wish him good luck once the season's over in V8 supercars. 26 Casey Mears, 27 Justin Allgaier, 28 Keelan Castle, 29 Reed Sorensen, 30th Cole Witt, 34th David Reagan, 32nd Mike McDowell, 31st. I'm sorry, 30th Josh Spice. I don't know. I'm reading off of the results here and not showing everything. So. Okay, so 34th David Gilliland, 35th Alex Bowman, 36th Joe Nemechek, 37th Joey Gase, 38th Travis Koffel, 39th Clint Boyer, who I believe possibly blew a tire and went up into the wall. It was one of the last few cautions left. And Michael Nett, Eric Almirola, and I must say I did feel terrible for Eric Almirola because he was I believe he got as high as 5th in that race, and I think I think heading into the chase, he was one of the drivers that everyone was talking. I think to most people, he was one of the drivers that everyone was like, he doesn't deserve to be in the chase. He doesn't have good cars. He's going to be the first one out. And I think that his performance today, up until an engine blow, was he was showcasing himself as not only a driver to get past the first round, but a driver to get into the eliminator round, the second to last round. So when he blew that engine, I was very heartbroken because I felt like I think he could have easily gotten a top 5 finish here because he had a top 5 car. So hopefully if Japan Motorsports can get their act together and prove, maybe Eric Almirola can bounce back and get good runs at New Hampshire and then Dover. 42nd, Ryan Truex Jr. who had multiple issues. He had oil coming out of his car, he had brake issues, he had tire issues, etc. I don't know why Ryan Truex Jr. is in the Sprint Cup Series. I think he needs to go back to the Truck Series, spend a few years in the Truck Series, then spend a few years in the Nationwide Series, and then come to Cup. I think Ryan Truex Jr. I think his inexperience of Nationwide and Truck Series is not gonna pay off for him well in the Cup Series. I think he needs to go back to the Truck Series, and then I think he needs to rebuild his career. And then 43rd, last place, Mike Bliss. So that's my thoughts on where everyone finished here today. And Chicagoland. One of the most like, annoying things uh, that that gets to me is when people say things like, "Oh, this is like a boring race," or or this race was not exciting. Because I feel like is that I don't know what like the average NASCAR fan expects. I feel like that what I would say to most NASCAR fans is I don't think every single race is going to be exciting. I don't think every single race is going to because what I would say to most NASCAR fans is that okay, I'll try to say that again because that did not come out correctly. One of the things that kind of like irritates me is when people in the comment section, will constantly like complain and say things like, well, this is a boring race. Well, this is like a boring race, or say things like, I've never fallen asleep before an NASCAR race. This race was so boring that I just like fell asleep. It kind of annoys me. I guess people classify boring race differently than what I do, but I feel like that if people are going to complain every single like Cup nationwide truck race is out there, then maybe you should be watching NASCAR because I feel like that in the history of like sports in life, not everything's gonna be exciting. I don't know what you expect because not every single NASCAR race is gonna be like cars tumbling, fire, explosions, etc. Not every race is gonna be filled with crashes. Not every race is gonna be filled with excitement. So I feel like that if NASCAR fans are going to continue to complain, my advice is to possibly just open it a little more and just and just accept the fact that every race is going to be boring I'm sure that out there like a lot of people out there who complain about like because I'm pretty sure like most people complain about like the Richmond race being boring, and then some people have been complaining about the Atlanta race being boring in some cases, and some people would probably complain about like the Chicagoland race being boring. So I feel like that if anyone is going to complain, I think they should maybe try to open up just a little bit more. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, so here we are. So we can look to like next week here and go and look at New Hampshire. I think a lot of people are going to have their eyes on Jimmy Johnson because if anyone remembers, Jimmy Johnson started second in that race, but he had air pressure issues, and then he had two tires go down. Well, the first time he had a tire go down, it was his car was fine, but the second time his tire went down, he was a lap down, and he just hit the wall in turn one. I don't know why. To me, when that happened, that happened. Okay, so 2014. So for the 48 team, not just this year, but in the past several years, or basically throughout his career, he's been having tire issues. Like, okay, so I don't understand why Johnson keeps on having tire issues when the other two drivers, Gordon Jr. and Kane, do not have tire problems like at all. It makes me. I feel like in some cases, like it's a 48 team keeps on having tire problems. They should probably be looking at the 5 cars notebook, 24 cars notebook, and the 88 cars notebook. Because I feel like I don't understand why their air pressure was. I don't understand why their air pressure was different compared to the 2014 because it just doesn't make any sense. So I think eyes are going to be on Jimmy Johnson to see if he has tire issues and it hits the wall again. That could happen. When I watch these NASCAR races, I'm always expecting the worst from my favorite drivers. So yeah, so that's that. But I think, as I mentioned earlier, Keselowski, he's probably the favorite heading in this race because he could go for a three-peat. He could sweep the New Hampshire races, so there's a lot on him entering this race. But I think, I don't know. So what I'll say right now is that I think my prediction to win this race is Brad Keselowski. Uh, because it's kind of hard to remember because I feel like because I think because when I look at like most of because 4 of the 5 races he's won. The other 4 races he's won, not Chicago, but the previous 4. I feel like that when he won those previous like 4 races, in my opinion, I feel like that when he won those like 4 races before Chicagoland, it he was pretty much in the spotlight, and you can't really remember like anyone else who was like good. So I can't really remember that many other good drivers right there, and I don't think that in July there was like anyone who could like contend with him. So my pick right now for the Sylvania 300 on Sunday, once again I'll say it again, is Brad Keselowski. I think he'll probably do it. Um, I would like to see an Manchester win, but I don't think it's going to happen. So yeah, yes, that's what I have to say about that. And I think now this live stream is going to end. So I'll just say that thank you. Thank you for watching this live stream. Make sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all later in the future for my live stream on Sunday and my race review next week. So I'll see you all later, and bye.